let me show you a real world example of why they wouldn't be texting you back. So I'm currently experiencing a moment right now where my grandmother has sent me a long wall of text with some videos and YouTube videos, and it's talking about autism and things like this. And it's like, I know maybe I might be a little bit, but that doesn't define me. It doesn't define who I am. It doesn't define where I've come from and where I'm going. Now, the reason I'm avoiding reciprocating at this moment is because I'm not ready to look into that. I'm not ready to examine that. And this is normal. There's nothing to worry about here. And if it was a romantic interest sending me this type of stuff, long walls of text with, videos on YouTube that are educational for my own benefit, that's not going to get me to want to reciprocate. It's also about I'm not ready to reciprocate yet. So I might intend to reciprocate, but not just yet. I intend to do it at a later time. And in a sense, procrastination, I do believe, is a defense mechanism. And partially the reason I am not reciprocating myself is because I don't feel safe, which is the underlying reason behind all this. And let me go into the more deeper reasons. Because when you start asking yourself the question why, and you get your answer, don't stop there. Ask why again. And then once you get your answer again, ask why again. Now, if I was to look at these text messages and actually look into the videos that have been shared with me around, autism, it's not really a big deal, but it would force me to take a look at a part of myself that I won't like, and that makes me feel very uncomfortable. So if you're especially sending any types of text messages like this, where the other person is forced or challenged to confront themselves, they're probably more than likely not going to want to do that. There is a part of themselves, they're not going to tell you this, but there's a part of themselves that they don't want to look at. And it's not even necessarily anything to do with you. It's like, I don't want to see that part of myself because I don't even want that to exist. And in a sense, I'm not abusive with any type of substances or alcohol. I might overeat when I'm stressed, but other people will resort to any other type of stress relief to alleviate the pain, rather than have to look at a part of themselves that they don't like. And this requires a F ton of energy. You need energy to look at yourself in an objective manner, in an empathetic manner, in a self-controlled manner, in a self-aware manner, in a very self-empathetic manner. And so that energy is best spent elsewhere on something that we would prefer, rather than spending it something that feels like pushing a boulder up a hill. It feels really risky to spend that energy, even though there might not really be any risk to it. But it just feels that way. It feels like walking through glass. It feels like stepping on a bunch of rose thorns. We don't like to see this part of ourselves, regardless if that part of ourselves is actually real or if it's just made up in another person's mind. For the last month, I was personally reflecting on someone telling me that I'm defensive, justifying myself, uncoachable. But after a full month of literally just analyzing this, I came to find that the person who accused me of all that was actually they themselves justifying defensive and apparently uncoachable, very unreceptive to my feedback. And with the safety, the underlying safety that's beneath all this is like, I don't feel safe at looking at myself without being labeled, judged, or trapped inside the box that we're looking at. Or if it's not being trapped in a box, it's escaping from a box, because we also some of us might feel very comfortable staying in a box, and we don't want to leave that box. We don't want to be categorized as something else or leave that what we're familiar with. But for me right now, I don't want to be trapped or labeled. But for some of us, we feel content with whatever label or box we're in. And in case you think that your romantic interest or partner is malicious, narcissistic, or something else along those lines just because they're not reciprocating, I want you to pay attention to how you yourself are the one who doesn't reciprocate when it's inconvenient to you. We are all human in the sense that we both do the same thing.